The IRS under scrutiny, of course, for targeting conservative groups, but the trouble doesn't end there. Last week, armed federal Homeland Security agents showed up at rallies across the country as Tea Partiers gathered to protest the IRS. Did they have a right to be there, or is this just another example of bully tactics from the government? Joining me now to analyze, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Good morning to you, Judge.
Good morning, Gretchen.
So these armed security guards from Homeland Security were not there to say, hi, we're from the Department of Homeland Security, right?
Well, we don't know why they were there. We know they were out of uniform and they were armed, and they were there sort of monitoring a demonstration. You know, the American people were sold the idea of Homeland Security, which President Bush, to his credit, was actually against, felt we didn't need another police department. We were sold the idea of Homeland Security that they would protect the borders and they would protect the airports, also arguably the borders. Now they've become another police department. Think about it. If there's a rally on 6th Avenue, right outside the building where we are now, the police will be there just sort of around the area to make sure nobody gets hurt. The large concentration of people in a small area. You don't expect a federal police department there, and you don't expect the federal police to be out of uniform so you don't know who they are, and you don't expect the federal police to sort of be breathing down people's necks when they're expressing opinions against the federal government. That's what happens. And the Supreme Court has said many, many times, Gretchen, the First Amendment needs breathing room, meaning you shouldn't be afraid to express your opinion that you're going to offend the person you're disagreeing with, especially if that person is the president or federal police that work for him.
Okay, so people are going to feel chilled by this when they find this out today.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the technical word, chilled.
They are going to feel chilled by it. So my question to you is it legal?
Well, there is no statute that prohibits it. There is no cause of action against it, meaning you can't really sue Janet Napolitano and say, get your goons out of here. You basically have to put no relation. I'm laughing because off air we refer to her as cousin Janet's goons.
I'm laughing because you said goons. Okay, continue.
But the only way to resolve this is to put political pressure on the president to remind him his job is to protect our freedoms. And when the police are breathing down people's necks because they express political opinions against the government, that inhibits our freedoms.
But here's what I am so surprised at, and maybe I shouldn't be, is that in light of all these recent scandals coming out of Washington, why? You would think that the Department of Homeland Security and this administration would be extra careful to not overstep any bounds.
Agreed.
Right now.
Sometimes the government has a tin ear as to what offends people. Sometimes the government just wants to sort of don't challenge our authority. But the government needs to recognize its first job is to protect our freedoms, and when it inhibits us from exercising them, it's not doing its job.
I do want to mention that Homeland Security also tracked Occupy Wall Street peaceful activist demonstrations as well.
Why do we need a federal police department to track anybody when they're lawfully expressing their political opinion in a public place? That's not a job for the police. It's not a job for the feds.
Okay. Judge Andrew Napolitano, we got to leave it there.
I think I'll hear from cousin Janet later today.
Who knows? They might have your phone number under surveillance. You never know, Judge. All right. Have a great weekend.
Pleasure.